Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, my name is Chi. Welcome. Today we will be making this knotless box braid with coily ends, and as usual I started the hair all the way to the top with the brick format type of pattern. Now we wanted something different for this hair. We didn't want the regular like straight line at the top. We had zero interest in center pattern. We wanted like a deep C curve side pattern. So when I got to the top, when I was making the brick format, I started curving in a little to form like a C curve at the side for the side line. But then again, at the top of the hair, we wanted to continue with the brick formation type of pattern at the center part of her hair, so that we would have like a deep C curve at the side, but the top will be very flat. And you know that is the work of brick formation pattern. It is going to give each of the individual braids space on the scalp to lie down flat. So we wanted the top to be very flat with a deep C curve at the side. So I made the whole hair just very regular, but when I got to the top, I started making that curve a little until I have this space you can see in the middle. So I started making the brick formation from the front all the way to the back, so that I would get a very flat type of braid at the top of the head. Now if you have like a long oval face, you will not need the extra volume at the top of the head. We didn't want that extra volume at the top of the head because I knew this was going to flatter her from her face shape. So now I am showing in almost regular speed how I made the knotless braid. So I braid 2 times and then I start adding the hair extensions little by little. The very first 2 are kind of really smaller than the next 3 or 4 that I will proceed to add. So this gave me like very flat. At some point I will stop and show you, and you will see how flat, how absolutely flat this top braid is. Like it's just as if you had like a sewing. It's just flat, and it looked nice. So again, you are going to see how I braided the knotless part. I braid once, twice, and then I proceed to start adding the hair extensions. If you have watched my video before, you would know I was against braiding 2 times before adding the hair extension because I felt as if the hair was too knotlessy, like the base of the head was basically like a string. It looked too thin to support the strings of the hair, to support the size of the braid, but that was not the case here. Especially if your client has very thick hair, you would be able to get away with that without the hair looking like the weight of the braid is overpowering the hair. Yes, that's what I meant. So this didn't look like that. It just looked very knotlessy at the base of the scalp. So something else I forgot to gist you guys was that we reused the hair extensions from about half of the head from the back. I have a medium size knotless braid video on this channel. So this is my sister, and I made her hair with this particular hair extension before. In that video I explained that she needed a quick braid to carry for some days before a wedding that she had to make a general hairstyle for the brides ladies. So she carried that hair for less than 2 weeks and had to lose it, and we decided to reuse the hair extension and see if it was going to come out okay, but we only used it about half of the head, especially from the back. So you will see in this video that from the look at the end, you can repurpose or you can reuse your hair extension, but when braiding it made everything kind of slower. And towards the end, because this is darling Nigeria easy braids, this is not, it wasn't, that hair extension wasn't the normal hair attachment that we use, so the place was a little bit spongy, which, because I knew we were going to coil the end of the hair, I knew that we were going to get rid of any difference, because that's where it was easy to tell that the hair attachment had been used before. So when we coiled it, you couldn't tell at that point. Now I want to show you how flat looking this top of her hair is. If I had continued with the regular way of making, look at how flat this thing is. Watch and see how flat, how absolutely gorgeously flat and knotless it looks. Very flat, very flat, very flat, very flat. We liked the result. It was what we wanted with our deep side coil. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Yeah. So because we coiled the hair, you cannot tell where the old hair attachment was. And remember, we just used that one up to like half of the head, and then we used a new hair extension pack, one pack extra at the top. So my sister can braid also, so I would braid it to like 3/4 of the way and leave it, then she would complete it. Yeah, because it's free hair and she can plait, so it was just making everything kind of faster. I underestimated how long it would take to make this hair. Like, the time it took surprised us. It was way over 5 hours, because these braids are kind of small and they are many, and yet they are long, so it's understandable, but it took us on our way. So I keep doing the brick formation. I did it all the way to the back so that the center of the head would just be flat. At the end of the day, the hair looked like a sewing, because we had the deep side curve and then just very flat top. It looked like a sewing, but it was nice. So when we were done, of course, I proceeded to trim the hair. Now, one thing I can say for this gray color type of attachment, the flyaways were crazily obvious. You cannot get away with not trimming this color of attachment. You cannot. If it's black on black hair, maybe, but this had so much very obvious flyaways that I had no choice but to trim each strand one after the other. This is just the part of braiding that I don't like, so if I can do away with this, I usually do. Here you can see the whole hair and the length before we started coiling. Now I am showing you very closely how I coil the hair. I always get questions on this. So first of all, I use a string. I am using a Brazilian wool to do this. I make sure she keeps her hair straight, as her head will normally be at a normal level, and then I can eyeball exactly where I want the braids to start, not to stop, where I want the braids to start. I tie the string several times, like up to 5 times, 5 or more times, at one point where I want the braids to stop. Once it is secured, I then proceed to run the string all the way to the base of where the hair stops and then push it up just as you see me do. I am going to demonstrate that again. Okay, now I didn't just cut that string off because I wanted to use it, even if I was not going to use it. Before you dip your hair in hot water, try to cut off all the very extra long strings that you're not using that are dangling there, because these little things can be the source of accidents when you are messing with hot water. One of them can just forget where its mates are and just make you pour hot water on yourself. So once you are done, cut off the excess string so that you will not have anything that you will underestimate the level of mischievousness it is going to cause. Another way I try to coil these to make sure. Now if you go all the way, like from the left to the right, when you are done, you will surprisingly find out that the hair is not like on a straight line. I don't know, but this always happens to me. So what I do is I go from the left into the middle and then I stop, move over to the right, like the outer part of the right, start from the outer part and walk myself towards the middle again. I do not go all the way from the left to the right. I always end up having one side looking longer than the other. So walk from the outer section into the middle. Once you get to the middle, you stop, then you go over to the outer section of the other side and walk your way towards the middle. Something else I did was to add, like, I had like I bald I I I I I bald where I want the coil to start on the hair, but getting towards the middle, I gave like less than an inch addition to the length so that it would form like a curved shape with the middle of the back looking a little bit longer. I hope you can get what I mean. So it will have like a curve. The outer place will be a little bit higher. It will curve down longer in the middle and then curve upwards again at the other end. I think you understand what I mean. So going from the outer part to the inner part and then from the outer part to the inner part also helped me to achieve that, and it made me ensure that the hair is level. You cannot have like your client get tired and change her position, bending her hair to one side while you are doing this. You're going to end up with coils that are very, very obviously different or at different lengths. So as you can see, my sister was staying straight all the time I was making these coils, just so you won't have a mistake that you cannot explain where it came from. Make sure the person is staying exactly how her head is straight before you start doing this, so that you will get the perfect length you want. And as you can see, I started from the outer section of this one. I'm working my way inwards, and then this looks a little bit lower down than the very first one I did. The third one looks a little bit lower, a little bit longer before the coils. So this explains that slightly longer middle part I was explaining to you, so that I don't know, it looks nicer. It looks nicer that way than when the hair is all the same length. So when I was done, I dipped the hair very freely but carefully into hot water. I only focused on dipping the very ends. The very ends. I let it stay a little bit longer than usual because of that hair extension I am reusing, just to make sure that it is bent into formation. Yes, just to make sure that it is coiled into formation. So that water boiled. the water boiled. It was that hot, it boiled before I dipped it in. So remember to ask your clients to stay still. Do not mess around when you are doing this hot water. You see, when people are focused on their phone or playing games, when it comes to the time when I have to dip your hair in hot water, just tell you, please, can you try not to shake? Just for a few seconds, just concentrate on being still so that I can make sure that I do not get hot water on you. So because this hair ended up looking a little kind of too full, the hair was full, it was full, and I wanted it to lie down more, I used hot water to just play around on the body, nothing too much or too drastic, but the steam from the towel is making the hair kind of relaxed and flexible and less bulky. Just, you can see this is just done slightly. The steam just takes away the extra air bubbles or whatever and just makes the hair relaxed, more relaxed. You don't need to dip the whole hair. We used to do this at the beginning of time when I started making hair, like years ago in Nigerian salons. We would dip the hair until we get to almost your scalp and then kill your scalp with hot water therapy like someone that gave birth. God, braiding used to be, some people still have this nightmare when they come and they'll be like, please, when you dip my hand in hot water, don't burn my face, please, you don't need to press it too much, are you going to press it too much, are you going to, I'll be like, no, relax, there's no need for all that nonsense anymore. We have gone past that. We're not going to use hot water and finish your head as if your head just gave birth. No, relax. Okay, now when it's time to also take out the strings, I find it easier to cut off where you tie that string several times. Cut that off first, then you'll be able to draw the coil from the bottom part down. Once you tug it a little bit, you can then cut off the ending, the tip, and at the same time trimming off the excess the ugly part at the base that you don't need. So you trim that out. At the same time, it is going to help you ensure the coils are equal, at equal length. So this was my younger sister's suggestion. She said add gel to the coils at the base, it is going to make it last longer. I feel as if even if it works, it's just a very little difference, but of course I applied just a little gel to the coily parts, and you're supposed to ensure this dries off before you start styling your hair. If you pack this hair like this into like a ponytail, you are going to mess with those coils and you will not see them. They will mess with you right back. When you are done the next day or when your hair is dry, you will find out that you have a different set of coils, very disrespectful coils. So try to let your hair dry so that these coils will take formation before you start bending them into another position. So I go ahead to just separate the coils, and oh my god, is this looking gorgeous already. This is looking gorgeous. So at this point I asked her to sit up straight again, as I explained. Sit up straight so that I can see where these coils are and what is going on, because if you're bent to one side and you walk and finish your work that way, you are going to see this. Don't do that to your hairstylist. Keep your hair one place. Well, we are done and it looks beautiful. As you can see, she loved it. I loved it. If you have plans of making gray hair and you were worried, go ahead. It looks nice. Our C curve and flat top looks beautiful. The coils look nice. You cannot tell that we reused a hair extension at the back. I don't know if I will use it for the whole hair. It might be challenging. It takes more time because it tangles faster, but look at that. Look at that. Isn't it lovely? So I have a video of where I made the first knotless braid. It was like a medium sized scanty type of knotless braid. It was fine. I will link it in the description bar or in my comment. I will pin it there. So closely, this is the hair. I also have like several videos featuring my sister. We actually have a sister tag video that we made during the holidays. If you're interested in getting to know me just a little bit more, or just to see the less hairish type part of me, please watch that video. I will have it in the description bar. Thank you for watching. Please comment and let me know where you're watching from, and let me know what you think about the hair. Thank you and bye, baby. Mwah.